Thank you for tuning in to the World Builder's Anvil, episode 148. Using music to get in the mood. You know, to write. When you want to write something, you want some music to help you write.
Baby, don't know where to start building your fantasy world? Do you need more? Does it make sense? Forget any worries and become a crafter of imagination. This is the place that will help prime your mind. Now, it's time to heat up the forge, break out the mithril ingots and hammer. Welcome to the World Builder's Anvil. I'm your host, Jeffrey W. Ingram. Let's sup from the mug of Java and build. Welcome back. As always, I'm Jeffrey W. Ingram.
And I'm Michael Miller with a long-distance dedication. Because today is a very special episode.
That's right. Michael is actually out in the field spying on orcs again. But
today we have figured out how to have me backpack all the digital equipment.
Yeah.
And Jeff and I are recording hundreds of miles, well, not about 40 miles apart.
Yeah. Yes. Michael today is actually going to be in perfectly legal HTML in Dellable Studios. And I'm coming to you from C#.
No. You don't get to name. You don't get to name my
Innovation studio. But I can't.
No. You can name the studio today because you're there, and I will name my studio because I'm here.
Well, I'm coming from C# Gnostic Innovation Studios,
and I'm coming from the Better Than Jeff's Studios. Anyway, today we're talking about music.
Yes. And using music to aid you in writing. Yes. Okay. So let's kind of hop right in here. And I've done some research, and I actually found some very interesting things about music and things that it's actually been studied to be able to be beneficial on. And one that I wouldn't directly think of normally involving helping you out do better at writing is that actually music therapy is used to treat stress, enhance memories, and reduce pain management, which is amazing. And I do find actually when I listen to a lot of music, I actually have chronic pain issues, and I don't have them as much when I'm listening to jams. So there might be something to that. There was
you're talking about your knee?
Yeah. And so there have been 73 trials with over 7,000 patients looked at. So there's definitely some evidence to back it up. How conclusive it is, I don't know. It's medical science. It means
it's more importantly to note that it's research science.
It's researched, yes. And along with that research, there was another university, Bournemouth University in the UK's Dementia Institute, put together an orchestra to test out music in both performing and in making both making and listening to music and using it. Does it help people with dementia? So the direct research doesn't correlate, but they did find in it that it does help boost the mood. It makes people actually better. Playing and listening to music together brings people closer as friends. It helps improve collaboration skills, communication skills, and fine glasses. And actually musical skills if they're actually making music.
These things are crazy and messy. I don't know how this happened. They were literally sitting on the floor by my desk. Before the show began, I was scrounging all over my house because I can't see very well without my glasses, which also makes finding them difficult. And I just found them, so now I can actually see all of the notes on the page. I intended to ignore Jeff's notes anyway, but now I can at least read them.
Well, that we don't accidentally bump into them. And I would like to say that Jeffrey isn't pleased with you using the third person when talking about yourself.
I don't know why I just did that. That's not really my thing. It's not like people don't know. It's not like people can't distinguish the difference between your and my voice. I don't think we sound anything alike. So
let me point something out to the audience very quickly. Michael, when he's not recording, is not a kind person. He always refers to himself in the royal we. So don't listen to him. He's full of it.
We are not amused, Jeffrey.
Perfect. Execution.
Okay, so the basic gist is that it's such a, I'm going to go with the word obvious. It's such an obvious thing that music helps people. It's good for mood. It's good for healing. That medical sciences recognize that, and they're starting to, put a pinpoint on it.
Yeah.
So the study that Jeff has looked at is a step in the right direction, but certainly not enough yet to give any hard, conclusive stuff. They've got
or
some.
Maybe it is. I would have no clue because I don't know enough.
Right. But we thought it worth mentioning if you guys feel like doing some of the research and checking it out for yourself. But certainly I'm going to read some of your notes here. And the study did talk about how it alleviates stress, helps with stress management, it helps enhance memory.
I forgot that one. Thank you.
Well, the memory one's a really good one, and I've read that before.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Welcome to the joke.
Yes. Yeah, it took me a moment to get that. And reduces pain. It says reduces pain medication.
Oh, well.
Which makes me think it lowers pain so they can be on a lower dosage.
That's how they measured it, was in a reduction in pain medicine. So essentially the people who were taken off of it needed to use less pain medicine to get through the day than they did before, and versus the control group.
And if you also talk to any music teacher in the United States where their school has been cutting back the programs, there's a lot of schools that have been going through that for budgeting reasons. The first thing that goes is the extracurriculars, and there's a tooth and nail fight in a lot of schools to maintain the music programs because they're like, look, music is not just about listening to something pretty. It's fundamental in who we are and creating a well-rounded person, and people who deal with music, that you do better in school. It's not just, oh, well, we want to hear something nice.
Yeah.
Like it's more effective, more affecting than being that simple.
Yeah. But when it comes to this idea of boosting mood, I think it's important because you can use it obviously in multiple ways. And it's intuitive if you're a music lover and you listen to a lot of music. Different types of songs bring out different moods in you. And that's a powerful thing when you're writing. Or creating stories that you're going to share in any other way. When you're trying to mimic a mood, if you're listening to a comedy set, or comedy songs like They Might Be Giants, might not be the best thing when you're in the scene where the father dies and the kids are left alone in the streets.
And we're going to say that as a might, because depending on how you deliver and how you receive music, and by that I mean how you're delivering your story. Like if you're delivering it comedically, maybe They Might Be Giants would be perfect. But also how you interpret and respond to music. Because I sometimes find that I'm using music that is contradictory to the context of the music to do a given action in the real world. Like I used to go running. A lot of people who go running listen to, like techno music or hip hop. They want something that goes along with cardio move. Yeah. When I used to go running, I would listen to industrial hardcore or
little 9 Inch Nails.
There was, I think, one 9 Inch Nails song on my running track, and I would also listen to folk music. Believe it or not, and they're very different. I know they're very different, but that's what did it for me while I was running.
I would say if I heard the Chicken Dance song right now, I would run. So I think there's something to that.
As far as, do you want me to go down your list here a little bit?
Well, let's start talking a little bit here. And my caveat is something pretty important, which is
Michael.
And Michael actually reinforced that as well. And the idea being that, what affects your mood, how you react to things are different. So we're going to be talking about things that we use to help get us into certain kinds of moods. They might or might not work for you. However, one of the things that I want to be cautionary with, and this is near the bottom of my notes, so I'm now ignoring my notes. So I'm going to kind of insert this right here. When you're using music, when you're actually writing or in a creative mindset, don't put your favorite songs in those lists. And the problem is if you start singing along, if you start doing air guitar, you start doing air drums, that will actually be counterproductive. So if a song works to get you into the proper mindset, use it. But if you're forced to interact with the song as it's happening, use it and then go to something else to allow you to concentrate. And we'll talk more about using music to focus and what I use and what Michael uses in a moment. But keep that in mind for all of these. You know, if you're a huge Taylor Swift fan and you love singing along with their songs, they're not the ones to use in these scenarios.
Yeah, I find that if you're going to use music, my first recommendation would be to start with wordless music, stuff that's just music, no lyrics. Because especially if you're writing, it's easy to get caught up in listening to that. You're listening to words and you're trying to write words and find words, and that can be a bit of a struggle. I mean, if it works for you, then fine. But if you've never used music while you're writing, I would not recommend starting that way.
Just as you're building your playlist out for music, definitely keep in mind that if there are words and you catch yourself singing along or being distracted by the words, turn it off.
Especially if you've got songs like that. Like you might have songs that, like, for instance, Walking on Sunshine is one of my favorite, like, get happy songs.
Energy, yeah.
Yeah, energetic. Dun, 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 dun. You know, it's such a happy, fun, go, go, go song. But it immediately pulls me to a place and a feeling. That's why I like the song, but that's exactly why I can't use a song like that to write. Yeah. Because it takes me to a place that I don't want to be in. You know, if I'm going to use music, it has to be something that's at least not going to drag me away from the task, and at best push me right into the depths of where I need to be thinking.
Very good. Yeah. So let's start going over, and I will use music a lot. Especially when I need to get into specific moods. If I'm completely out of the mood, you know, like typically when I'm writing, I get very focused because I can stay focused and write for a long period of time when I'm writing. Sometimes to get into the mood or to have the energy, because, you know, like I just worked a 10-hour day, which I do quite often.
Yeah, you worked like 10-hour days almost all this week, didn't you?
Every week, yeah. And so what happens is, you know, when I come home, I'm typically dreary. I am tired. My brain is a little like, which isn't actually bad for writing, I found. I don't need my brain to be at its sharpest to be creative. And sometimes I come up with some weirder crap because of that.
Let's be fair, Jeff. How often is your brain at its sharpest?
Define sharpest.
That's what I was say.
Okay. So, you know, but I will use music like if I'm feeling out of it, especially like during NaNoWriMo where I'm like, I need to write at least occasionally to get 50,000 words in a month. Right. I will use music on the way home to sort of build up my energy level again and get going. But then sometimes it's like I get focused, which is unusual for me because I'm typically kind of scattered. And so if I'm very focused and I'm doing certain types of writing and I'm trying to break the mood of the story, either through comedy or through usually something sad, you know, I'm trying to switch over to action mode. Isn't usually an issue because the kind of music I listen to typically is very fast, gets me moving. But when I'm going away from stuff like that, sometimes I need to switch the songs up. First one that comes to mind is to bring me into a sour, sort of more somber mood is the soundtrack to Waterworld. I mean, obviously.
Shut up. You realize that it doesn't bother me that much.
I know that
you don't like the
but
movie.
I just enjoy it. So
you enjoy Waterworld. Oh, okay. That's good to know.
No.
Jeff enjoys Waterworld. Make sure everybody tell your friends.
You're a piece of garbage.
Hey, look, I'm just repeating what you just said, that you love Waterworld, that it is your favorite movie. That's what I heard.
Oh, you Gamonite.
I heard that.
Okay. No, actually, the big one that comes to mind, and I this was from watching TV at one point where House. If you haven't seen the TV show House, they used music very well to punctuate things.
Yeah, they do.
And there was a song I picked up in there, Jeff Buckley's Hallelujah. And which you don't
that song's amazing.
That song's amazing, but his delivery is very powerful. And And that song stuck with me. And actually, my wife and I tried to figure out who sang it because like it was used so beautifully at the moment in the show.
That song specifically is almost like jazz in the respect that that song's been done by many artists. Yeah. A lot of people like to record that song, and there are some astounding versions out there if you take a look. But I mean, Jeff Buckley's obviously is the benchmark.
Mm. And if I'm shooting for deep depression, I'll go past that, and I will go to either a Nine Inch Nails song about drugs, which usually is the ones about women. If you think about it just naturally, if you listen to the Nine Inch Nails song, if it's about women, it's drugs. If it's about drugs, it's women. That's just a general rule for Nine Inch Nails. But especially like Dirt. And whether it's
good.
His delivery or you get into the remake from, oh my goodness, my brain just froze up. Superstar country music guy.
Oh, Johnny Cash's remake of it?
Remake of
it.
Was,
that whole album.
The whole album is incredibly depressing. If you want to listen to something to get you into a sour mood, that is a great album, and it's wonderfully done. It's all rebate songs, and some of them, and they're all kind of meant to be dirgy, I believe, anyway. Mm-hmm. But it's just like with the loss of his wife, it just, the power of that comes through the music.
I like, for that sort of mood, I've got two albums that come to mind. Pink Floyd's The Final Cut is a nice depressing album, or this is more somber, but if you get not the soundtrack, but the motion picture score from 1994's or 95's The Crow, the one with Brandon Lee.
Yeah, that's a good album too.
The score for that, with the exception of there's one song on there where you hear like, it's a real brief song. It's like a 1-minute song, and it's some rock and some guitar and some vocals. I edited it on, like, in my iTunes. I removed that song because that song completely takes away from the mood of everything else going on. But I find that album to be nice in that somber sort of dark, dreary Edgar Allan Poe feel. So
there's another soundtracks are really good in general, especially if you're looking for wordless stuff. And if you have a video game that you like, the higher end ones a lot of times come with scores now,
and with amazing orchestral backgrounds.
And there's an album done by the rocker Glenn Danzig, which was an instrumental called Black Aria, and it is a haunting soundtrack, and it's all orchestra classical soundtrack. And completely different than the other Glenn Danzig music. That's very good. The soundtrack to Bram Stoker's Dracula, phenomenal.
Really, can't say that I remember that one in particular. I'd have to go back for that one. One of my big recommendations will be, when you got to start writing those epic battle scenes, pull out some Halo. Halo has really inspiring, like, stepping up to an enormous challenge music.
And if you don't have,
or you could play Ride of the Valkyries.
I was about to say that if you don't have access to that kind of music, hop straight onto like Pandora and type in Wagner, and that's
exactly.
And Ride of the Valkyrie being probably one of the bigger ones, but his classical music sort of led to the modern day idea of what scores for movie soundtracks are, especially for your big epics.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff in that. And what's funny, too, is because my brother was very involved in the music program in college. So he learned a lot of classical and brought a lot of that to me. And he's played stuff for me that was amazing. Like, there's this one thing. He's like, you're never going to believe this. He's like, listen to this. And he played a harpsichord. I wish I could remember what it was. It was just a guy on a harpsichord. And this is old. Yeah. Like, this was written in like the 15 or 1600s, right? And it sounded like Eddie Van Halen. It was so fast. It was so fast and so dissonant, and if you squinted your ears, it almost could have been an electric guitar. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, where is this coming from? You know, it sounds like modern music and modern style, but it's, a couple 300-400 years old.
Well, classical music really led to what have today. And, it was like, I'm a huge fan of Beethoven. The soundtrack to the movie Immortal Beloved, which is a great movie to watch just for, I don't know how accurate it is to his actual biography and life, but to his music, it's super accurate. And and they have great versions of a lot of his songs. And the good thing with something like that movie is it takes you through this whole range of emotions that you got in the movie along with it. It won't just take you sour. Some parts will, but other parts will take you to different places. Like the Ode to Joy, especially the version of it they do in that movie, is probably one of the best music things ever created ever. And it's so powerful in the way they deliver it in the movie. The person who he's battling with the whole movie forgives him when she hears it, because it is so beautiful. It's about this person who's trapped in something horrible, but finds something that gives them hope. And that's all it is. And it's incredible. But in general, like, classical is a great place to default to if you're looking for wordless stuff. And like, if you go to Pandora, they'll have like classical for work, classical for study, classical for different things. And they actually will kind of piece the stuff together in the way you need to. You don't need to know a lot about it to get to some good classical music quickly. I would like to meet the Eddie Van Halen version of the harpsichord. That's pretty cool.
You know what? I'm sure my brother will remember it. I'll have to ask him. About it and see what it was. And I would say odds are really high that I have it digitally, because I have his music collection digitally.
Well, you'll definitely have to share that one, because I would be interested in hearing it. Yeah. But, it's like the idea, it's like the thing Beethoven, I think, created that really sticks with me and has a huge influence when I hear it. And this is to make me feel sad, is he had a way when he did sad music to make violins sound like they're crying. And like, it's a very haunting sound, and it's been reused a lot since his time. I think he kind of innovated that one. But, Beethoven in general does it for me. In general, I need songs that imbue emotion. And the emotion might be happy movement, but I need songs with like real emotion in them, whether it's harsh or bad. It's like, for me, it's like I can listen to like that, nasty death metal, and it will get me jazzed up, and, not in a sour way, but just in a pumped up kind of way.
Yeah, me too. The speed, the adrenaline.
Oh yeah. So any other kind of music that comes to mind that really sort of pulls you emotionally in one direction or another? You hit Walking on Sunshine for happy.
Yeah. I would say for like happy fun, like we have, Madonna's Immaculate Collection is generally what Sarah and I will pop in the radio if we are going to go on a driving trip, or if we're getting ready. Like, that's like our getting ready music. It's because I think the first song on that album is Holiday, and Holiday is a very upbeat song. So like, if you want to do like upbeat stuff, you hit like Walking on Sunshine, Holiday. I'm trying to think of what else is in there, but I don't really remember. I'd have to look at Sarah's list. I guess, I mean, I hate to admit it, but I'm certainly happy to put all this out there as an idea for you guys to write. But for me, I generally don't listen to music while I'm writing.
See, I do it two different ways. Like, if I need to get into a mood, I'll typically listen to songs, but I'll stop and I'll focus and concentrate on them. And then, and we'll start pushing here a little bit into focus. I use focus music to help focus as well too. And there are actually some studies to back this up as well too, that there's sort of two levels of attention that people have. They have a surface level attention, which is important, which is what allows you to sit at a computer and look at it all day. But what that doesn't do is it doesn't allow you to type and be productive all day. It actually works differently. But music can drive adrenaline. Not adrenaline, dopamine. Dopamine is a reward that your brain will feed to you to make you feel happy. So when you have a dopamine release, which music can do, and it depends on the music that works for you, will actually allow your subconscious mind to focus as well too. So it helps you kind of blot out the world around you and stay focused. That's where I can go from writing 100 words an hour to 1,000, 2,000 words an hour. So, which if I couldn't do that, then I would not be able to keep up with my very slow start to NaNoWriMo this year. But I'm still pretty much on track. So I give that a lot. I've been jamming out to Wu-Tang Clan a lot in Spotify, actually, because you can listen to Spotify for free now. So I've just gone in, picked one of their songs, and let it go. The hip hop sort of jazz fusion with gangster rap really works for me, and I don't feel the need to sing along. So even though there are words and everything, I can kind of blur that out, and it keeps me focused on the page and my fingers clicking the story out.
For focus, what I have actually been doing lately, and I am a little behind as of today. I'm actually just doing a little adding right here. I think we've mentioned this before for everyone that's contributing to NaNoWriMo this month, that you should be doing approximately 1,600 words a day. That'll get you to 50,000 by the end of the month. Mm-hmm. And that'll just get you to 50,000. So like my daily goal is 2,000 words a day.
Yeah.
Which I am on track because today we're recording this on the 5th, and I have a little over 4,000 words. So today, or actually that doesn't make me on track for my daily count, but it's Saturday, so I have today I have more time to write today. Mm-hmm. So between today and tomorrow, I should be able to catch up and surpass what I would need by the end of the weekend, mm-hmm. which is what I'm shooting for. But what I actually have been doing, mostly because there are parts of my book is a more it's a very people book. There's a lot of emotion and tying the reader into caring about the characters, not so much as the action, but really getting to know the characters in the book. I've been watching Saving Private Ryan every single day. So when I'm writing, I've got Saving Private Ryan right in front of me on the screen, but with no audio. And every now and then, if I need a little writing break, I just, I unmute it and I listen to the movie for a little bit, like give myself 5 or 10 minutes watching a movie, and then pull myself back out, because that movie it's such an, it's a small tale within an epic story of occurrence. Like, it's all kinds of epic things that are happening all over the place, but the tale that it's telling is a very small detail in part of it, but at the same time it has such a human punch, and all of that is kind of what I'm shooting for with my story. So I'm using that as my inspiration when I'm typing.
Yeah. No, that's interesting too, because I can't do visuals. Like, as soon as a visual comes up, it would distract me. So, but it's interesting how, once again, this is something we have to learn ourselves, is what works for us. And, and I like the idea too, where it's like, you're right, Saving Private Ryan is this very small, intimate story within the context of the huge epic story. And so the huge epic story is happening all around. Yep. And that's the kind of inspiration you need. So you're bringing into that and driving your inspiration from there as well too.
The other thing that, go ahead.
I was just going to say, sort of kind of back to the music and energy and productivity and focusing. I use a lot of EDM.
What is EDM?
Electric dance music.
Gotcha.
Thrash metal, rap like Wu-Tang, and classical like Beethoven, that kind of stuff, or Wagner too would work. That kind of stuff really works for me to help keep me focused, because I need to remove distractions to be able to focus, because else I fall into shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, I do that too. So for me, one of the biggest distractions is an auditory distraction. Like, for some reason, auditory distraction really slows my train of thought. Visual stimuli can. So the thing is that I really like having that in the background. So I have to know myself well enough to know, okay, what can I have playing in the background that's not going to pull my attention away? Yeah. So that means it's got to be something I've already seen. Yeah. It's got to be something that I know well, and it's got to be something that's not just something stupid in the background. I still want it to help the process, so it's got to be inspiring, which is how when I started looking for something, I never would have thought of Saving Private Ryan. I was actually looking for something else. I was looking for something more zombie related, but then I was like, well, that might distract me, because that's visually very arresting. And I did a search for Steven Spielberg, and there were only like 3 movies on Netflix, but one of them is Saving Private Ryan. And I was like, well, let me give that a try. And it actually ended up being really good. I wrote a lot that first night. So
awesome. Yeah, no, it's all about finding those strange things and techniques that work for you as an individual, because ultimately, when you're being creative outside of making music, which I would probably say it's probably not best to listen to music while you do it. Much like I would say you don't want to read while you're writing. But it's taking advantage of those moments, and learning over time what works best for you. Because like maybe for someone like you, the opposite would be good. And maybe like those noise canceling headphones would actually be more beneficial to you than having sound come through them. Where for someone like me, I have to have the sound coming through, or I end up getting distracted. So, yeah,
I had to use those the other night.
Those are the Michael is showing me the low tech noise canceling headphones called earplugs.
Yeah, I couldn't find. I had my work van home that night, but my wife was watching one of her terrible reality shows, as she's want to do and known to do, and they just drive me insane. I can't think. I don't like them. They're horrible. They drive me mental. And I was trying to write, and I'm like, baby, can you go watch something in the other room? I'm like, could you just go watch anything other than that and turn all the sound off? And she's like, but I can't watch this in the other room. And it really hampered my progress that night because I couldn't deal with it.
I have to step in here and defend reality TV shows by saying that I find The Bachelor to be one of the greatest sleep aids ever designed. Because as soon as my wife starts watching it, I go upstairs and go to bed because it just takes the life right out of me.
Well, whatever works for you.
Yeah.
All right. So are we ready to bring this in for a landing?
Yeah, I think we want to bring it in. So we threw out some suggestions of music. That's not the important thing. I think the important thing to remember from this to take away is it can help you focus. It can help with your energy and productivity, but you also have to know yourself. For Michael, it can help him with mood, but not with Gah. Gah is very important too. And so,
I'm sorry, Jeff, it can help me with mood, but what now?
Gah. Gah is a Bedrakum word. And
like how you can just totally flub that and then fall back on, oh no, that's from a language I've created that you don't know.
That's right. Prove me wrong. No, Gah is this Bedrakum
Jeff, stop.
concept.
It's very philosophical. Take me a while to explain it to you.
Especially to a simple mind like yourself. But
definitely lost his steam there because I was distracting him.
Yes.
I'll take a point for that. I'm going to take a point for that one.
Oh,
but this is a record right here. I'm going to give you 2 points for Gah. I'll give you 2 points for being very creative on the fly with that one.
Thank you very much. I will take the record because I'm sure you'll take it away before the episode's over.
I'll let you have it. I'll let you have it.
Okay. But but use the things that you can to inspire you.
And also understand yourself enough to know what is going to be a distraction as opposed to an inspiration.
Yeah, because whether it helps you get in the mood might not help every person write that mood better.
And this is also saying like you could do it both ways. Like maybe you need to psych yourself up into a certain, like maybe you're going to write something really particular. Like I'm about to write a sequence where a few very important characters are going to die. So I might want to. I already know what I have to do to write it. So I don't have to do any of the following, but I'm using it as an example. Maybe you might have to listen to a certain thing or watch a certain thing to put yourself in the mindset to write that way. So you do those first. You listen to the distracting music. You watch maybe, a horrible sequence from a movie that's going to put you in a depressing mood or whatever. Then you put that aside and step over to the keyboard and get to work.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really it, and, for me personally, music works a lot, not only to get in the mood, but to help me concentrate. And just take what you know, build off of yourself, and understand that if it turns into distraction, that's usually the voices in your head, the fears trying to stop you. And the trick is you're trying to use this stuff to clear that out to be more productive. So anything that you find along the way, whether it's music or watching stuff, or definitely picking up your phone and playing that bubble game that you love to play, those are all things that are trying to distract from you. So you're trying to cancel them out with the music, with the inspiration to keep you moving forward. And that's really what we're trying to do. I'm trying to help you to get through. So unlike Michael and myself, you can be ahead on your word count, where we'll be ahead at the end. But, you're going to have these points throughout NaNoWriMo, or anytime you're being creative, where you're going to get off track a little bit. Nothing's going to always go precisely the way you planned, and you have to use the aids that you've learned in life to get through it. And that's what we want to help you get better at doing. And you can help us get better at it too.
Yeah, this month should be a bit of a roller coaster. You're going to have days where that you knock out your word count, and you're going to have days that you don't knock out your word count. For me, it's just about the math. Yes. But I wanted to thank you, Jeff, for something that you said in our last episode. I wanted to repeat it. I actually have it. I've got 3 screens in front of me. I've got the screen that I'm working. We got the special technology going so that I can interact on the show with Jeff. I've got my video game screen, which is currently off. It's not being used. And I have a second computer over here that has the beginnings of this book that I wrote years ago. And I have my chapter outline up in front of me, so I always have that to reference to. And underneath of that, I have Jeff's words, "Vomit the book." written in huge letters. No, you're laughing, but I needed that as a reminder, because I will get in the mode where I want to self-edit as I go.
Yeah.
Or I'll write a paragraph and I'll be like, that's so wrong. And then I look just a little to my left and I see "Vomit the book." And I'm like, all right, screw it, keep going. Mm-hmm. And I have stormed through a whole lot of, I've gotten so much more done, and I have found something about the way I write that
awesome.
that I didn't know before. I have figured something out that I don't know that I would say I've honed a skill, but I've certainly developed a new one.
Yeah. So that's awesome. And that's the reason why I always go there, is because getting the story out is the most important thing. If you want to spend 20 years afterwards figuring out what the eye color of your main character should be, okay, you're going to do it at some point. But, the thing is, a lot of times we use those as excuses to stop ourselves from completing the story. And, where it comes to, if you're in theater, the show must go on. If you're a musician and you're going on stage, you have to finish that set, because, that's what you're doing. If you start telling a story with your friends, you start doing a role-playing game, it's your responsibility to finish the story. That's what brought them there. And so often when it's something personal like writing, we'll allow ourselves to trick ourselves right out of doing it. And when you vomit out that story, it's done. And then you're going to try and find excuses to slow yourself down if you want to get to publishing, but at least you finished the story.
We're recording this on November 5th, so only 5 days into NaNoWriMo, but this episode's not going to drop until roughly when, Jeff? Isn't this another week?
It's not. Yeah, there's one dropping this week, and then the week after will be this episode.
So
2 weeks from now, or 2 Mondays.
2 Mondays from now. So they're actually not going to be getting this until the middle of NaNoWriMo. I don't know what we can really say other than the words of encouragement. Keep at it. You guys are doing great. And even if you don't think you're doing great for your word count, you're still getting something done. You're still getting closer to this book and this story. So don't quit. I quit. I tried to do this years ago. I wrote, I don't know, 2 chapters. I don't have a word count on it, but I probably wrote around 1,000 to 2,000 words, not a whole heck of a lot. Yeah. And I stopped. And this book has been sitting in me for 6 years now. And now I'm really writing it and I'm really enjoying it.
That's awesome.
So don't do what I did. Get it all out now, even if you don't finish by the end of the month, but keep going.
Yeah, because ultimately, like you said, it comes down to math. There's only a certain number of words you have to write to get to 50,000, and it's shockingly low.
It is
1,600
really
words a day is not a lot. If you put the time in to do it, you should be able to get done. Even missing days here or there. I have to go to a wedding. I just started a mastermind for people who are interested in fantasy world building and in trying to present it to the world through a business side. join our Facebook group. We're hopefully have some people in it at this point. It's not even really been, the episode talking about it hasn't even launched yet, but hopefully some people will join in there. We'll do some stuff to try and encourage you this month, but ultimately we want to kind of grow that group out to help people, whether you're trying to deliver books or you're trying to do better games with friends, stay productive on the entertainment side of things. And if we can find a way to make money from it, we can do that too. But we can do that journey together in the Facebook group, which is the Fantasy Writers Undercroft. It'll be linked in the show notes of this episode. Or if you contact me in Facebook or Twitter, I'll send you a link if you don't want to go to the show notes. So Twitter's probably easier because I'll see my notification on my phone. So
I was going to say because you're a twit, but
yes.
Twitter's easier.
Oh,
He's a twit.
I just had a producer show up. Hopefully she won't destroy my microphone in this closing moments.
Awesome. World Builder task?
World Builder task today is just words, word count, and if you're not participating in NaNoWriMo, that's no excuse. You're here because you're a storyteller, write a story down and start NaNoWriMo now. I don't care. Just get some words down. Even if you don't plan to send it out as a book, all the story you're working on will help develop characters, will help develop world. It'll help flesh everything out in your mind so you can deliver your stories better no matter what the medium is.
Yeah, if you're not doing NaNoWriMo, if you're doing like a tabletop thing, write an adventure. If you're, writing a script, then work on the script. Get some of that script done. Whatever you're working on, work on it. So that's your weekly goal. And real life goal? Real life goal. Task, rather? Not life goal, task.
Yes, life goal, shower. Take a shower today. No. Hopefully you're doing the showers. That's one thing I would advise not cutting out. But,
definitely don't
I would say come join us on Facebook in the Facebook group in the Fantasy Writers Undercroft. It's going to grow there. We'll have some things that come out every couple days to try and keep people going on whatever they're working on, not necessarily NaNoWriMo. But while you're there, we'll cheer you on. We'll help work you through problems. So show up there.
And I'm not gonna let the cat out of the bag, but I'm gonna let you guys all in on a little secret. Get in on the ground floor.
That's right.
That's all I'm gonna say. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe I'm gonna say a little bit more. Things are gonna go big next year. Big with us. So get in on the ground floor. If you're listening now, you're an early adopter. Go to the Facebook page. That's where it's going to start, but it's getting big.
And I want to thank you all too, because, and I'm going to do this at the beginning of an episode as well too, for those of you who are too lazy to listen to the end, which I don't blame you because Mike babbles.
I know. I just drone on.
Especially when it's like about crazy, like boring stuff like toilet seats for different cultures. But, it's like
one of my favorite research subjects in college was
the toilet seats of
the toilet seats around the world. Yes.
But no, actually earlier this month, actually in October, we passed my goal for downloads for the year again.
Woohoo!
I expected maybe to be at my first year goal today when I started, and we've over doubled what I did in the first year, which unbelievable. We're quickly approaching 60,000 downloads. Oh my goodness, and where you figure I was hoping to maybe be at 24 or 30 by the end of this year. I can't say enough. You guys help share out the show. You guys listen to the show. You're what motivates me to do the show. And I want to thank you now and probably at the beginning of the next episode too, because I'm just blown away.
He's not the only one. Thank you guys. I've said it before that we'd probably do the show if nobody listened to it because we have so much fun doing it. But we love that you guys are getting something out of it. I'm saying that assuming you are. I believe that you are, especially because some people have written to us. Yep. So we know that some people are getting help out of the show, and we love that. Of course we do the show selfishly, we do the show for us, but selflessly we would really like you guys to learn from anything that we've gone through in our nerd-based creative paths. We've spent way too many hours late at night rolling dice, creating characters, sitting down, creating worlds and building places that don't exist because we care about them. We love this stuff. Yes. And we love that we're not alone, that you guys love this stuff too, and we're just going to keep doing it, and we want you all to be a part of it, and you are. Just listening to us on the other end, you're a part of it, and we thank you so much for that.